When we moved into our house, there's very little storage, but we did have this really big 15 by 3 foot closet off of our deck. And I knew that there was going to be a better way that I could utilize the space without having to take everything out every time I needed something. So I took everything out because not only was I going to put new shelves in, but I was going to reorganize everything in there as well because I have ADHD and I just can't help it. First thing I did before anything else, I used my Cricut and I made labels for everything. I then put all of the labels onto the buckets, and that helped me with sorting everything into the right buckets. Once that was done, it was time to start building the shelves. The first thing I did was I found where all the studs were along the wall and attached 2x4s to the wall using those studs. I then built the shelves out and put plywood on top of them so the buckets could rest on top of them. The first thing I did before adding supports was figure out where the buckets were going to go because I was trying to avoid having to pull multiple buckets out to get to one. So I wanted the supports to line up with where the buckets were. Once I had everything figured out, I then started putting the supports up. On the left side of the closet, I had this little funny space, so I decided to utilize it as much as possible and make stacking shelves for buckets. So I then decided to start using as much wall space as possible. The last thing I did was I hung some hooks from the ceiling that I could then hang some wreath holders from so that I had even more stuff off the floor. All in all, this took me about 2 weeks to do, including all of the organization, labeling, and building the shelves and putting everything in. I love how it turned out. More information about the whole project is on my site. I've linked everything on my LTK and Amazon storefront.